Day. No longer working from home. This is number one for the crazy land party going on here. This time with chicks.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You get it.
I got it.
You're just a disaster waiting to happen, Kyle.
Yeah, I know. How do you feel about going back to work?
Okay. Good, bad, good. Generally better than bad. But
You didn't like working from home, did you?
no, God no. But it makes me feel guilty as a mother.
What, working from home?
Going back to work, yes. And the whole, yeah, you know. I'm working and not spend time with my kids, right? I probably work more at home also because, well, not probably, quite certain that my concentration is constantly, is distracted with the kids bouncing in and out every now and then. Breaks your flow, right?
So
Hard enough juggling the multiple things people are bouncing at me or demanding from me, at work. And yeah, so it's just a bit more distracting and it's harder to get back in the zone. Because when I work in the office, I tend to be super focused. And as you can see, I don't need to eat or drink. I just work until I finish that portion and then I eat. Because it's more efficient for me that way. Because if I'm in the middle of something, it's like the last lap, right? You just power through it and then you're done. Rather than, okay, let me sit here like the hare, sit down, have a break, have a nap, and then get back to it. It'll only be 5 minutes left, right? No, it's not. It would have taken me 5 minutes if I just powered through. If I took a break, ate my lunch while it's hot, it would take me another 15 to 20 minutes just to get back to it.
So the summary is that you ended up working far more hours at home.
Yeah, ineffectively. Because
than if you would have just been at work. So
I think so.
Going to the office is a much better thing.
For me,
Because the time is limited. Your computer's at work.
Yes, and I've also got more impetus to finish off my work so I can get home.
Yeah, I feel a bit bad because I was encouraging you to work from home, but I've just noticed that the whole working from home thing has been bad.
I think it really depends on people, on your industry, the kind of job you do. And of course also the style of working, right? Like the style of you working is very different from mine. You need lots of little breaks, right?
Do I?
Yeah, what you do, don't you?
Well, I have a cup of tea, yeah, I guess.
But you even have mental breaks, right? You flip the news or something.
I don't know. I do have my long concentration, but obviously probably not like you do.
Yeah, and when you do, then you tell the kids to keep quiet, slam the door. But if I did that, it would be every time, all the time, which is unreasonable and not very nice for the kids. And yeah, because I'm at home, if the baby wants to sit on my lap, I'll let her sit on my lap if I can.
You'll finish work at 7 now?
No, hopefully.
And you won't bring home work now?
Well, I won't say I won't, but it should be less. I should be at least, going to sleep and not thinking about work as much. What? Look at the queue for the Changi clinic. They haven't been open.
So yeah, working from home for Ruth, not good.
Actually, there's loads of articles about it. Working moms have it very hard, depending on the, industry, right? If you're doing something that is small packages of work, smaller sums of work that add up together, that's fine because you can do like a 10-minute block of work, 10-minute block of work. But when you're doing something like, checking 30, 50 sheets of drawings, which you need to cross-refer multiple sources of information, you can't. It takes me 5 minutes to load up a drawing to look at it, and then something happens. And then I go back, I have to load up the drawing again and refresh. Okay, what did I need for this again? And then I have to look for something else. It's just completely ineffective for certain types of work. I can see it happening for, different kinds of work. If it's a more data entry type, right? You just tick, 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 finish this chunk, next chunk, done. But my job, for now anyway, it's unfortunately...
requires more focus. Uninterrupted focus.
But yes, there's been a whole lot of literature about how this whole quarantine period, work from home experience is a lot tougher on working mothers than anyone else. I can imagine, especially for those who don't have help, at least we have help. So he was talking about how he's perhaps also less efficient when he's working from home because he just knows it's there and he can get back to it later. Again, than just working throughout the day and night because it's there. Whereas if you have a cut-off time at 7, you're like, okay, just chop, get this all done. There's no...
Yeah, that's the difference with your business. It's very deadline driven. I mean, mine is deadline driven, but like, not really. It's kind of fake.
The problem is my business is deadline driven, but quality driven is completely personal. So if you're a perfectionist, there is no end to how much you can perfect the design and the drawing, right? You just want to be better and better and better. So that's where it's dangerous when you have a passion in what you do, because you just give your all into it, because you have high standards and you want the outcome to be perfect, or as perfect as can be, and that translates to just you putting in more work. So it's like having to draw that line between, okay, that's good enough, versus nothing is ever good enough, which is, to be honest, how I feel all the time. So it's a bit like, you just have to draw the line and tell yourself, you gotta stop somewhere, and that line is here. Because as a perfectionist or an anal sort of person, when a dimension does not align, it bugs you, because it's annoying, and it affects readability, it affects clarity. Although the information is there, it's not perfect. So I've learned to let go a lot over the years. Because it's one thing to expect that high standards from myself, it's another thing to demand it from someone else. It's good to demand it if there is time, but there usually isn't time. And as I mentioned, right, with every time I change something, it gets sent back to be changed. I have to check it again. And if it's purely cosmetic, I'm wasting my time to check it again to see that it's captured. Or, every round of revision needs another round of review again. It just never ends.
Can't you just highlight the differences between the document and write or something? Then you know exactly what's changed.
You still have to look through it. Well, technically you do that with revision clouds, but that's only after the drawing has been issued. If it's internal, you don't, because that would just take too much time.
It takes too much time to have a red marker?
It might across 100 sheets.
Yeah, I mean, I rely on software to highlight the differences. I'm never going to look through a document.
So, you could in a way overlay it, but it does take a lot of time or energy to do it again, because you're talking about 100 sheets, right, or even 200 sheets, for example.
But couldn't it just say like sheet 5 and 10 has changed?
So that's what I'm saying. If every sheet has changed, which will be the case typically when you check drawings, always something will pop out. It's very rare to have a sheet untouched. Your drawings are so beautiful. You should basically just mention, because my other colleague basically demanded it. He would just outright reject it if it was, I guess, not pleasant to look at. I don't know how some people can do things like writing from home as a parent, because that requires concentration, complete concentration. You can't just leave off halfway and...
Yeah, J.K. Rowling was the exception that proves the rule.
How did she do it?
How did she do it?
Wasn't she writing in like Starbucks or something? Or
some cafe, some busy cafe.
Exactly, so a kid wasn't on her lap. Narrow. It's
What
so
are they
cute.
doing with that bridge crane? Right in the middle of town. Next to Freakin. Alright, thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are you holding the computer?
Really necessary, but I guess it's a bit safer now, right? Instead of having the the screen.
I guess I'll run away.
Okay.
Well, I'm on the fence about the office. I mean, it's a good place to do work, it's a good place to meet people, but I just don't like the office setup often, you know. I don't like the noise of other people, and I don't like it how it's difficult to get the perfect setup, especially if you do video conferences and you want the audio to be great. So office, I don't really like the office, but working from home when you have small kids and everything, that's been, especially sitting beside my wife on a small table in a small room, that has been crazy. So I'm actually happy to go to the office today, and most days. But I do want to see changes nonetheless. Hi.
That's it. Put wrong line.